Hi, my name is Courtney Mason, and today we are going to be talking about women in Islam. The question we'll be discussing is, how is the culture in Islam on women different from the U.S.? To begin with, the Prophet Muhammad was a human rights advocate who worked to teach people to rid themselves of prejudice, manipulations, and personal and social injustices. Along with this cleansing, he encouraged all people to receive an education, property rights, and to implement social and political rights. The Prophet taught that the duty of Muslims was to educate themselves, their families, and their societies. It was said that gender, race, culture, and traditions shouldn't prohibit someone from obtaining an education. The Prophet said that the pursuit of knowledge is a duty of every Muslim, man and woman. Education opened the door for understanding, which is why he stressed the importance of it. Muslims also were supposed to honor both men and women in all their achievements, and children were supposed to be treated justly, meaning they were to receive an education and a proper upbringing. In the days of Muhammad, women were able to take part in social, political, and military affairs. Women could have control over their portion of property even during times of divorce if it was necessary. Women were also able to choose their spouse. Arranged marriage was not really implemented back then. They could also vote for their political leaders, and a lot of the times women would actually stand with the men in doing this. Military affairs, women were allowed to join the army and fight against the enemies of the Prophet. So the Prophet proved to live his teaching through the way he treated his daughter, Fatima. She was educated, beautiful, and respectful. When a young man came by to ask for her hand in marriage, he went to her and asked for her decision because he didn't want to choose for her. And whenever they were in a public setting, he would get up from his seat and offer her his chair when she walked into the room. After Muhammad died in 632 AD, different cultures embraced Islam according to their traditions. So these pictures are showing just the different ways Islamic people have interpreted their religion. This quote from the Quran talks about the modesty and purity of women and how they needed to cover up, which is where the strict laws come from in today's society. However, they disregarded the part where it also says that men need to do the same as women. So that's where some of these gender differences come about as well. So today's Islamic women are not allowed to drive cars. They cannot keep their own passport. They're not allowed to gain an education. They can't leave home unescorted unless they are by a male family member. And they're not allowed to vote. They have to assume their typical household duties. Again, these restrictions vary depending on the traditions of that culture. So today's women, as most of us are aware, we're able to vote. We can become politically involved. We can dress however we want. We can work, or we don't have to work. We can just choose to have a family. We have the freedom to choose whatever religion we want, whether that be Christianity or Muslim or Hinduism or idolizing our cell phones. We also have the ability to create an equal partnership in the home as opposed to Muslim women. So the main difference between USA women are that we are free and Islamic women tend to be restricted. So one of the famous quotes from the Prophet is that the guilt of the oppressor is not lesser than the guilt of the oppressed, meaning that if the women don't stand up for their rights, then they are just as guilty as the people suppressing those rights. And as we see here in the pictures, women are taking a stand. Thanks for watching.